Hey guys, so it looks like Canada wants to increase our immigration by like 2018 to something like 450,000 people every year. Now, this is just insane and it goes against all of the recent studies that have been done about immigration and how it's supposed to solve the issue of our aging population and paying for, the social benefits and stuff. There was a study from the Fraser Institute that was done from like 1987 to like 2006 and 5 that showed on average that immigrants will pay something like $6,000 less in taxes every year. And then they also cost Canadians something like 16 to $26 billion every year, right? Annually. So they are a net negative to our economy, especially at the rates that they are coming at right now. And these studies, nobody can dispute this. There's very little they can say against it. And literally all the arguments that liberals make about how they're going to do jobs that we don't want to do, etc., are all bullshit and are essentially disproven within this study as well. Whenever they say it's just like the debate in America when they're talking about illegal immigrants. They're like, oh, they're going to do the jobs we don't want to do. But what happens is you're just filling the market with a bunch of low skilled laborers, and then yeah, they're going to do those jobs. But if there weren't so many people in the market, it would the people there would have to raise the wages. So then this would actually help with poverty, and bringing in a bunch of people is not going to do anything because within this study they've proven that the majority of immigrants are paying like something like 25,000, or they're making on average like $25,000 compared to the average Canadian that's making like $35,000. So the only way that they could pay for all this stuff by importing immigrants is if those immigrants made more than the average Canadian. But what usually happens is that their kids usually equal out to average Canadians, so it doesn't actually solve the problem. And the only way to like really normalize it is to increase Canada's immigration to something like 2% every year. And at the rate at 450,000, that's like 1.1%. So this is what Trudeau is aiming to do. And at the rates that it is now, that will increase Canada's population to something over 100 million by 2050. So it's not going to solve the problem of our aging population. It's going to make it worse because these people are eventually going to need benefits. They're going to get old too. And then what happens when automation hits, right? There's going to be a much bigger issue to deal with. And people will make the argument like, yeah, this is raising our GDP, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the average Canadian's per capita income is raising, because the opposite actually happens. We make less per capita the more people we bring in. Sure, our country's GDP is doing better because we have more people, but that doesn't necessarily, show you how well the average Canadian is doing. So, yeah, a lot of these arguments liberals are making right now are nonsense and have been disproven within his Fraser analysis or whatever. Like I'll put the link in the description below. You can go through it yourself, and there is no benefit. And not only are we doing all this and bringing all these people, and they're a huge burden, there is also the potential of people who are terrorists, just like that guy in Edmonton just recently, that we're not vetting properly. People who are criminals, just average criminals that we're not vetting in properly. And it's like this study was only talking about people when our immigration was set to 250,000 people, right? And it's been at that level consistently. It has not changed for years and years and years. Now we're just going to increase it. See, what usually happens in countries is sometimes it's high and then we got to set it low eventually, but that has not happened. It's like we're just going to go even worse, even higher. And it's like there is no argument, there is no benefit for the amount of people we're bringing in now, and essentially for the way our welfare system and our social programs are set up. Like if they were set up differently and we had different programs, and we had them set up slightly differently. And we reduced the amount of immigrants who bring their family members over, then we could have a better immigration system. Because currently, right now, up to like 22% of the immigrants that we bring into Canada are are people that brought their family over, like a grandparent, a brother, and we can bring in a doctor, right? That can bring money to the economy. But then if he brings his grandmother, his grandfather, now what? They're going to be on assistance. And right now we're not forcing them to essentially pay for them. Or they'll bring in their brother who can't really do a good job, who's just a low-skilled laborer, who's now going to take that job from somebody else, and who's actually going to make it so the prices of labor stay stagnant. Because you have an excess of low-skilled labor in the market. So this, and oftentimes, a lot of the people that we bring here do not do the profession that they were brought in for, right? Like the majority of doctors, the majority of people bring in, they end up just driving cabs. They don't actually do the profession that they were brought in to do. And of 250,000 immigrants that we bring in, only 60,000 have professions, are professionals, right? And of what percentage of them are actually doing their profession, right? Probably a very small amount. So clearly we need to completely reform our immigration system, reform our welfare state that we have right now, and do something, because the thing that Trudeau wants to do is just going to make us a lot worse. All he's doing is importing voters, because he's going to give them more benefits. He's already fast-tracked refugees onto welfare. He's pretty much accepting at least half of them that are coming in. So that's thousands and thousands of people. So he doesn't care, right? He knows, the Liberals know the data on this. They know that it's not going to help Canada, but they don't give a shit. They just want to import voters. So, I'll leave the description. I'll leave the study in the link below. You can go through it yourself, and you'll see that what's going on right now is not a good thing, and Liberals are really just trying to fuck over Canada, in my estimation. Like, they have to know that this is not a good idea, and this is a bad plan, right? They have to know this, because the information is out there. So fuck Trudeau. That's all I've pretty much had to say.